Essay Writing Basics Part 2. We've looked at the beginning of an essay and the end of an essay, so now let's look at just one more piece. Follow along with me as I read through this paragraph. And here's a tip. To practice pronunciation, you can pause the video after I read and you try reading it aloud. But let's take a look. The paragraph says, not only that, social media eats up a lot of our time. It serves as an escape from reality or even an escape from thinking about your problems and responsibilities. Sometimes this seems like a good thing because everyone needs to relax and have fun. However, using social media too much prevents people from doing things that are very important, such as concentrating on schoolwork, taking care of personal responsibilities, or even thinking and reflecting. If you sit down on the couch with your phone, before you know it, hours have gone by. Your homework is not finished, your dishes are still sitting in the sink dirty, and you still have not thought about how to solve your problems. Take me as an example. When I know I need to do readings for school, I start to feel tired and stressed. I tell myself that I will just glance at Instagram for a few minutes and then I'll do my reading. Every time this happens, a few minutes becomes an hour or more. I have wasted entire evenings this way and I end up missing sleep so I can finish the homework. Now again, if you'd like, pause the video now so that you can try reading it aloud. But let's think about this paragraph. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions here, and I'm just moving the paragraph over to the side to make room for my questions. The first question is, where in the essay do you think you would probably find this paragraph? Well, you know it's not the introduction and it's not the conclusion. We've already seen those, and this just doesn't look like the beginning or the end of the essay. In fact, you can probably guess it comes from somewhere in the middle, somewhere from the body of the essay. However, I think we can be even more specific. This is probably a second or third body paragraph. It can't be the first body paragraph. How do you know that? Well, our big clue is this phrase, something we call a signal word or a transition that begins the paragraph. That signal, not only that, tells us it can't be the first paragraph because something had to come before this paragraph. So this could be the second, this could be the third. We don't really know. We don't know exactly how many paragraphs are in this essay, but we know it just has to be more than one. But also, when you look carefully at this paragraph, not only can you see where it fits into the essay, but you can also start to notice how ideas are grouped and organized inside this paragraph. So a lot of these sentences, as we glance through, are kind of explaining the same thing. They kind of go together. These first few sentences all seem to be explaining how social media can sort of help us escape reality, but in a bad way. It kind of keeps us from doing things that we should be doing. Now, this other part of the paragraph, this second big chunk, all of these sentences kind of go together too because they're also doing the same thing. They're all together giving a sort of personal example of how social media can waste, let's say, my time as the writer. So these two sections of the paragraph are different, But they're all in the same paragraph because they also have something in common. Together, they are all supporting one idea. It's this idea that social media eats up a lot of our time, it wastes a lot of our time. That is the topic of the paragraph. So this body paragraph has an internal structure that basically looks like this. So if we want to make the point that social media eats up a lot of our time, we are going to explain how and why it keeps us from doing important things, and maybe we'll also share a personal experience of how social media caused us to waste our time. Now, this simple structure is really very simple, as you can see, but it's also really important. This kind of organization is at the heart of some really much more complicated writing. So for now, keep it in mind. We'll come back to this, but just remember that this is how the paragraph is being organized. So now that you know all this, the next thing I'm going to do is ask you to read the whole essay.